Welcome back to Mercury Minded Tarot. I'm still Chelsea. I'm still here with the tarot, astrology, pick a card content. So if at any point during this video you find yourself connecting to the messages that are coming through, or you just like the general vibe of this channel, then feel free, of course, to leave me a like or subscribe. I love reading for you guys and I'd love to have you. Now, for today's reading, it's going to be another romantic or relationship type of reading. We are going to tackle the question, is it really over? Is this connection done? Is it time to move on? So go ahead, think that question to yourself. I'm going to get the cards laid out. I do want to point out though real quick that if you are someone who likes using crystals or visual aids to help you pick a pile, fast forward just a little bit and you'll see that I have crystals laid out on top for you guys, okay? Let's get into it. All right, everyone, so here we have our 4 groups. We have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4 for you here. So go ahead, ask yourself that question, is it really over? Is it time to move on? Is this connection done? Use whatever method works best for you, whether that's pausing the video, going with your eyes, or taking time to meditate, whatever works for you. Go with whichever group is calling to you. And then once you've made your decision, I will have all of the timestamps listed down below in the description box, along with other relevant information like my other social medias and the decks that I'll be using in today's reading. So go ahead, do your thing, and then I will meet you at your group. Now, for those of you that like to utilize crystals, here I have some laid out for you. We have group 1 here with the howlite, group 2 with the labradorite, I can't ever say that one. Group 3 with the banded agate, and then we have group 4 with the smoky quartz. So go ahead, do whatever method works for you in regards to picking a pile, whether that's meditating, pausing the video, or just going with your eyes. Once you've decided on a group, I will have all of the timestamps listed down in the description box below for you guys, along with other relevant information like my other social medias and even the decks that I'm using in today's reading. Once you've done your thing and picked your group, I will see you there. All right, so if you selected group 1 or the howlite piece, today I'm doing things a little bit different. The first 2 tarot cards that I have laid out are going to be kind of the current energy around the 2 of you. Then I'm also going to pull 2 more, going over the future connection and the future of the connection. And then eventually I'll also have some oracle cards down at the bottom as well. So let's get started with what I see first in regards to the current energy between the 2 of you, group 1. I have Death and I have the 10 of Wands. Now to me, group 1, this reads as something that has either just recently ended or you've recently kind of separated from one another or taken a step back. There's definitely been a change in the relationship that we see with Death, right? This is a kind of a total transformation in the status between the 2 of you. So this may be a recent breakup, a recent separation, maybe even a recent cease in communication. But the weight of it, represented here by the 10 of Wands, is definitely still felt by one or quite possibly both of you. Now, for a lot of you here, group 1, I feel like what you've asked about this person, you had a very romantic, possibly even a physical and sexual type of connection or relationship with them. But this separation, this change, this breakup, whatever it was, I feel like it was definitely something that was being built up for a while. Like there was something leading up to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You may have been fighting, having disagreements, an event might have happened, but this wasn't a sudden random change like you would see with the Tower. With Death, I feel like this is something that had been building up, or it was coming to this conclusion for a while. But it definitely still feels burdensome with the 10 of Wands. You're still really feeling the weight of it. Currently, this other person, you're both probably still trying to adapt and change and figure out how to navigate life in this new kind of situation that's happened now. You're both trying to get a hold of your footing again, figuring out what's your next step, getting used to this new normal, readjusting to this change. But for a lot of you, group 1, in the back of your mind, it may just really feel over. With Death, it's hard to imagine going back. It's hard to see yourself in the same position that you were before. So a lot of you are really feeling like this is probably pretty severed and there's nothing left to go back to. Whew, we're getting heavy right off the bat. Sorry, group one. You guys know I don't like giving these heavy, upsetting readings. You know, I would love to just tell you good things and positivity all the time, but especially when my topic is something a bit heavier, I just always feel so bad not being optimistic, but that's also not realistic. You know, I never want to lie to you guys. I always want to tell you what I'm seeing and give you the most useful and relevant information to your life. So I'm sorry if this is heavy. All right, I'm gonna now lay out some tarot cards representing the future of the connection. Okay. Well, here we have the Emperor and the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so someone here is an Aries or a fire sign. I'm really feeling Aries, but if there's no fire sign between the two of you, then one or both of you has a prominent sun sign or Mars sign. I feel there's, how do I say this? I don't feel it's very likely that the two of you will get back together or rekindle this. One of you might consider it, but whoever the Emperor is here, you know, it's hard to tell in these big general readings who is who exactly. Things can get so muddled, but whoever is the Emperor here, they are definitely a very stubborn type of person, and they're set on course. This is an energy that is very logic over emotions, and they don't change their mind very easily. So this Emperor here, they're not ready or they're not willing to go back or revisit anything. They may be stubborn, maybe had an argument and they're stubborn and they don't want to admit who was wrong or who was right, or maybe they're just stubborn, like, okay, this is how it is now, no turning back. This is a very, how do you say, like a forward pushing type of energy. This person is like future oriented, future focused, and they don't spend a whole lot of time dwelling on the past for some of you. And then when we combine that energy here with the Page of Pentacles, the page in tarot is often, I don't want to say immature, they can be, but they're just younger because they're not quite the queen or the king yet, right? So this is a very, in this case it is, I feel like it's immature. The Page of Pentacles with the Emperor, I feel like this person is emotionally unavailable, or they are like emotionally immature. I don't think they'll be able to care for you or open up or be vulnerable with you like you need. So unfortunately, group one, or maybe it's fortunately, you know, maybe this is all for the best, but I don't see this connection linking back up. I don't see it coming back together. Now let me pull my oracle cards for you guys. Oh my gosh, okay. Here's the Mars, and here's the Aries. So for sure, someone here is a fire sign. Aries is in the chart. Mars is prominent. They're the ram. They're stubborn. And Aries and Mars, they are all about pushing forward. You two might still find each other attractive. There might still be some sort of like physical chemistry or pull, but it's not worth it, is what I'm seeing here, group one, because that passion represented by Mars, Aries, Emperor, that type of passion, it goes both ways. So even though you might still feel this chemistry or this connection to this person, if they're this passionate, kind of domineering, me-centered energy, they can also be confrontational and just like rough around the edges. That's exactly, okay, I know I said immature and that plays in here, but someone here, and I feel like it's this other person, they're selfish. They are very focused on themselves right now, this other party. And I don't see an interest, well, there might be an interest, but I don't see them acting on it. They're focused on themselves and pushing forward. All right, my other oracle cards, another fire sign. I have the Leo new moon that says, confidence is your key to success. And then my other oracle card is the disseminating moon that says, take time to breathe out. With these oracle cards, group one, it's like you need to regroup and recover from what you've been through. These down here, it's like learn from this experience, learn from this relationship, and have trust and faith that what has happened was for the best. You know, there's also the reminder here that life goes on and it's cyclical. And the best course of action for some of you here in group 1 is to just, again, breathe out and reflect. Now, group 1, other messages that I'm getting here right now is that this whole experience, this whole connection was a lesson for you. And some of you in this group need to hear this right now. So listen up, this is for you. You did not fail and you have not lost. You did not fail, you have not lost. I don't know who that's for, but someone in this group 1, you needed to hear that. You didn't fail, you didn't lose. What you're being asked, you guys, is to figure out what you can take away from this relationship and how can you do things differently next time. Maybe there was a communication error, maybe there was a difference in love languages, whatever happened that led to this change, this separation. What can you learn from that, and how can you use that to make things different in the future? But group 1, all this fire energy and the disseminating moon here, you really do need to take some time to yourself, spoil yourself, get back in your groove. Again, you haven't lost. I know it's always hard recovering from a breakup or recovering from this separation of this connection. But group 1, you will bounce back. You'll get your groove back. You'll get your confidence back. And you'll find someone better suited for you. That is what I'm getting here in regards to this connection, group 1. Again, I'm always so apologetic when readings are a bit heavier or a bit more negative. But again, I don't want to lie. And it's always important to remember that not all aspects of a reading may connect with you 100%. That is a-okay, totally normal. Go ahead, take what does resonate, and then leave the rest for somebody else. I appreciate you checking out this video and spending time with me here on my channel. I wish nothing but the best for you in regards to your future endeavors and relationships, and I will see you next time. Okay, so if you selected group 2 or went with the Labradorite, trying to pronounce that right, the Labradorite piece, I'm doing things a little bit differently with this reading. These first 2 cards are going to be kind of going over the current connection between the two of you, the current status of that. And then I'm also going to pull another 2 to address, the future of this connection between the two of you. And then I also have oracle cards as well. So let's get started with how things are right now. Group 2, it's interesting because these are both 2 very powerful cards. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. With the Magician here, what comes to my mind right away with this type of energy, and especially because it's backed up by the Wheel of Fortune, this person that you've asked about may feel like the one to you. They may feel like a soulmate. They may feel like someone that you've maybe known from a past life. Like there's that instant familiarity and sense of comfort you get from one another. But the other issue that I can have with the Magician sometimes is that they may be hard to get to settle down or to get them to commit to anything. So what that tells me right away, group 2, because the Wheel of Fortune, it's a cycle. So there's times when you're on top and there's times when you're down at the bottom. This relationship, I do feel for some of you could be karmic. And I know everyone throws out karma pretty loosely these times. So not all of you may be experiencing a karmic relationship, but some of you I definitely feel are in this case. And the hallmark of that for you guys is going to be that up and down motion with the Wheel of Fortune here. So you guys may have like an on again, off again type of thing, or moments where it's really, really good and really, really bad. And it's just constantly going back and forth between maybe good days or bad days between the two of you. Consistency is what's lacking here. For some of you, you just either can't get this person to commit, they don't want to settle down, or you're just constantly kind of going back and forth. The other thing here is that some of you may have decided to just leave this all to fate, leave it all to destiny or the universe. It's like some of you aren't wanting to or are refusing to take any sort of concrete action to change things. For some of you here, the message is that there's like a lack of confidence, which is why you're leaving it to fate or destiny. It's almost like for some of you, the state of this connection has gotten to the point where you're like, you know what, throwing your hands up in the air, just like let the universe handle it. If it's meant to be, they'll come back. If it's not, they'll stay gone. But some of you have just kind of surrendered and are like, if it happens, it happens. But you've kind of removed yourself almost and are just allowing the universe to push you in the right direction, which in some instances can be good, can be helpful. But for some of you, the message is that if you really want this to work out, if this connection is something that you want to bring back into your lives, you're going to have to take the reins back a little bit. Take control. Whoop, sorry, kitty. Take control back into your own hands. Whew. We're starting heavy. I said the same thing with my other groups. You know, I hate giving more negative or heavy readings, but I also never want to lie to you guys, and I want to give you the most helpful, relevant information to your experience or your situation. So I'm sorry if this feels heavy, if this isn't what you want to hear right now, but I'm always trying to be honest. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at my cards here to see what two I get for the future of your connection. Okay. All right, you guys. So for the future, try not to catch myself on fire. This is so silly. I have the Nine of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. This to me is a very good sign for the future of this connection if you're interested in resurrecting it or bringing it back. Because this reads to me that there is a potential, the Ace of Pentacles representing that potential, for a grounded and more stable relationship. So there is potential in the future to get whoever was feeling squirrely to whoever kept running. There is potential here for things to settle down and for this person to, you know, commit, and you guys can finally have, you know, stability and consistency. But the Nine of Wands, that influence right there is telling me that this may take some time, and one or both of you may have your guard up. So you're trudging along, you're putting in the effort, but your guard is up, possibly because of all the down times you spent here at the bottom of the wheel, or, you know, whatever argument or event led to you guys separating or getting distant. There are some walls that may be up for one or both of you, but the message with these two cards is to keep persevering and keep working through it. And the other thing I want to point out here with the Nine of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, for some of you, it may be in your best interest to take a break from each other for a bit. You know, maybe some distance will actually do you well in this case, because in the future, this is like starting over fresh. Coming back later to start again, to try again with a fresh mindset and like a clean slate. So it will take work, but there is the potential here for reconnecting and a reunion of this connection in the future. Let's go over my oracle cards now. What do you say? My first two, I have Aquarius and I have Saturn. Okay, two interesting points that come to me right off the bat. We have Aquarius and Saturn. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn in traditional astrology. Modern astrology, it's Uranus, but traditionally Saturn is the ruler. That's a cool kind of synchronicity there. The other thing I want to point out is Saturn is like the karmic teacher of astrology. And so the fact that I said some of you may have this karmic relationship with ups and downs, here's our confirmation of that. There is something to be learned from this relationship and a need to do things differently, to see things differently. Maybe your relationship is unconventional, as it says on the Aquarius card. But ultimately, group two, these cards right here tell me that there is a karmic element to this, and almost like a educational moment from this relationship. There's definitely things that you can learn from one another and take away from this relationship for your own spiritual growth and development. Now, my other cards are going to be the Libra full moon that says a win-win outcome is forecast. There's a confirmation for the reunion here. And the second one is going to be the Cancer full moon with a personal issue reaching resolution. So both of those I feel like are just beautiful, kind of good omens for what I said about the potential for reconnecting. Basically, they're saying emotions, Cancer, emotions may be high, they may be tense. And it's definitely important that whatever issues you have, you don't want to confront them head on. there might be a different approach needed in order to reach resolution. And I feel like that separation that I talked about, that taking a break, is one possible option here, but it is coming through pretty clear that for some of you, a separation or a break, just giving it a little bit of distance and a little bit of time is going to be kind of that sideways approach to reaching a resolution. The other thing, of course, with Libra, compromise is key here. Libra is all about balancing our own wants and needs with those of someone else. So finding a way to compromise and figuring out how the two of you can balance each other out. So that is what I am seeing here for you, Group 2. There is such a strong potential for reconciliation here. I hope this information is able to help you and guide you on your own journey. Of course, I always want to remind you that not everything may resonate 100%, but that is a-okay and totally normal. Just go ahead, take what does resonate, and leave the rest for somebody else, okay? But as always, it was a pleasure reading for you. I thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel, and I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors and future relationships. Hello, Group 3, or if you went with the banded agate, here are the tarot cards I have pulled for you. Now, I'm doing things a little bit differently today, where these first ones will be covering the current state of your connection, and then I'm going to pull more to go over the future of the connection, the future energy between the two of you. And I also have oracle cards ready to further clarify anything for us. So let's get started. I have here for you the Page of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. So Group 3, the very first thing I want to point out is that for some of you, this connection or this relationship was still in its early stages, or you were struggling to make this connection more serious. I'm almost feeling like for some of you, you may have been introduced via friends or through your friends, and some of you may still have to see this person within your social circles. Or if you started off as friends with this person first, you still have those mutual relationships. So the same mutual friends, you may still be having to see this person relatively frequently, and that's just kind of further adding to any tension or uncertainty or confusion that you may be feeling right now, Group 3. There is this, with the Page of Wands, there's this excitement. There's that spark and that physical chemistry that you may have had with this other person, and it's something that you don't want to let go of. You're not ready to give that up or let that connection go. You may be holding on to the idea of what you could have been or the idea of what you were. I know it's going to sound, Wands and Pentacles aren't watery, but I almost feel a Pisces 12th house kind of Neptune vibe, because there's some form of idealization going on here, where you thought you would have been perfect together, or you would have been the best fits for one another, and the aspirations and the dreams you had for the two of you, that's something that you're struggling to release. Now, the other thing for some of you, the energy between the two of you, it's you may be feeling kind of closed off or guarded towards each other or towards this other person. You may be a little bit wary, a little bit hesitant. This distance that's come between you, whether it was a separation, a cease in communication, a breakup, whatever has created this distance, you still can't get each other out of your minds. Now, I want to apologize. I know there's not much I can do about it, but with these heavier readings, I always feel so bad if the message is, negative or, just heavy. But I never want to lie to you guys. I always want to tell you, exactly what I'm seeing to hopefully give you the most relevant and helpful information in regards to your experience or your situation. But I am sorry that this one feels a bit heavy right now, but let's go ahead. I have my other cards here. Let me see about the future state of this connection. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands, as I try not to catch myself on fire. So we have the Ace of Wands and the Four of Wands. Right now, you guys, you have 3 wands in this reading. Someone or both of you has a fire sign or fire energy, you know, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. But there is definitely that spark, that chemistry that I talked about with these first two cards. It's here, it's back. So let's talk about them. These two cards are telling me once again that for a lot of you, you either started out as friends or were introduced through friends or through mutual acquaintances. You have that kind of strong foundation. And as far as a reunion, I am seeing that those sparks, that physical chemistry is probably going to be really hard for you to stay away from one another, right? So I do see a reunion here, but it's dependent on you know, one of you at least has to be brave enough to take action. One of you is going to have to step up and make the first move, because the message I'm getting is that sparks can die if they're not given attention. Something else I'm seeing here, group 3, with the Ace of Wands, that imagery here, quite literally, you could say they still hold a torch for you, right? That's that saying. I know I have people that aren't from the US that listen, but if someone holds a torch for you or holds a candle for you, they still hold interest in you. Now, group 3, something else I want to point out about the future of this connection is that one or both of you may like to move fast or can be a bit impulsive. You know, all that fire energy that I see here. The message for you is to slow down and take your time. You're not in a rush. And it's also important for the two of you in this future situation to let each other breathe and have a life outside of one another. Because the other thing, you know, I said sparks can die, they can also be smothered. But for the most part, I see that intense physical chemistry. There's a strong emotional connection. And this future sees the two of you trying to create comfort, stability, and a home with one another. There's definitely long-term potential in the future for the two of you. So I do see reconciliation here. Now, with that being said, let's go over my oracle cards. So here, there's the fire, there's Leo. So again, someone might be a Leo or other fire sign. And this one I have here, there's my Neptune. Okay, so there's the idealization that I was feeling. Literally says right on the top, the idealization of. And there's confusion. This is kind of referring to what you're going through in your current situation right now. There's the confusion, there's the idealization, there's this inability to release or let go of the connection. And with Leo, there's your physical chemistry, the warmth, the compassion. But it's also like what I was saying with this word leadership here, where one of you is going to need to just be brave and make the first move in order to get here, in order to get to this reunion. Now, my last two oracle cards, group 3, I have the Taurus full moon that says your dreams need a practical plan. And then I also have my Gemini full moon that says the answers you need are coming. First thing I want to point out, because I have two fixed signs, I have Taurus and Leo, and with that, I wonder if this relationship has a propensity for jealousy or possessiveness. You know, maybe that's something that you're dealing with right now, which has led to this separation, breakup, feeling of distance, whatever it is. There may have been issues with jealousy and possessiveness. You may have to learn how to work through those, you know, to, like I said, let each other be free, let each other have lives outside of the relationship. But the other thing with Taurus, of course, is that confirmation for the potential for stability and a grounded relationship. Because Taurus is an earth sign and it is grounded in the material and the physical. And then with dear old Gemini, we of course have the message that communication is important. And for some of you, there are important conversations that need to be had. But the warning here is that you shouldn't speak carelessly. You both take each other's words to heart. You both take what the other says very personally. So your words heavily influence each other. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. So just be cognizant of how you speak with one another, of the things you say. And like the card says, answers are coming soon. And by that, I think it means within the next couple of big talks. So if you plan to meet up with this person to hash things out, if you want to come forward with your feelings of what you're going through, it may take more than one, but eventually you're going to get the answers that you're needing. One final thing I want to point out here, group 3, is with all of these cards, my oracle, even my tarot up here, one of you is a big old flirt, and that's contributing to some of these jealousy issues. Like, I think one of you is trying maybe to make the other jealous or make the other notice, I guess, how desirable you are. So pay attention to that. Like I said, that kind of constitutes as your words can be used to hurt one another. So if one of you, or maybe it's both of you, are flirting and trying to get the other mad, but y'all need to get that under wraps. I'm here to tell you, yes, they have feelings. They feel that physical chemistry. You don't need to go making them jealous. Or they don't need to go making you jealous, whoever it is, or if it's both of you. But that was kind of the final message I'm getting here from these, group 3. So again, I do see reconciliation. There is a lot of potential here for a long-term, stable relationship. I hope you were able to gain clarity or guidance from this information. As always, I love reading for you guys, but remember that not everything may resonate or connect with you 100%, and that is a-okay. Just take what does and then leave the rest for somebody else. I appreciate you hanging out with me on my channel, and I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors and in your future relationships. All right, last but never least, if you selected group 4 or my Smoky Quartz piece, I'm doing things a little bit differently today. So these first 2 tarot cards are going to be addressing the current state of your connection and the current energy between the 2 of you. And then I've pulled further tarot cards to go over the future state of the connection and the future energy between the 2 of you. And then I also have oracle cards to further clarify anything for us. So let's start with the current situation here. I see the Moon and the 3 of Pentacles. Now, group 4, right away, because we have the presence of the Moon, something was going on behind the scenes that you are not aware of. All right, the Moon is secrets, things that are hidden, and I'm almost wondering, because we have the 3 of Pentacles here as well. 3s in tarot can sometimes mean a third-party interference or a third-party influence, and because it's the 3 of Pentacles, there might be a co-worker or a peer in your life or their life that has influence over this connection. Okay, I don't know. I hate to say, infidelity, but that is sometimes associated with the Moon, and because we have that third party. Now, group 4, I'm not saying that there's another person responsible for your breakup, your separation, your lack of communication, but there definitely is someone else here who is influencing this situation. Now, the other thing I want to point out here, group 4, is with the Moon, you might still be feeling drawn to or connected to this person and not even fully understand why. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of confusion. The Moon being associated with Pisces, you may not be seeing this person clearly or for who they truly are, or vice versa. It kind of reads as a, if you're familiar with astrology, there's an aspect, Venus square Neptune, and that's almost what it feels like here. It's where sometimes you may idealize someone or put them up on a pedestal. You see them through rose-colored glasses. You don't see them clearly or for who they really are. And for some of you, that may be happening here, either with you or with them, with both of you, who knows, but there is a lot of confusion and uncertainty here. With that being said, a lot of you still have a lot to learn about this person, or you may have been in the middle of getting to know this person if this was still in the early stages. But either way, whether this was something early or something committed and serious, there was something about this person that you don't know. There is a secret here. There is something that they're not telling to you, or they haven't revealed to you, or like a part of their personality that you haven't seen before or you're not seeing correctly. Now, group 4, my last kind of message I'm getting from these 2 cards, and it's literally just goes with what I was saying about Venus square Neptune and the general feeling from these already, but some of you may have maybe felt lost within this person or kind of lost yourself within the relationship. I feel like you or they, maybe the 2 of you, You want it to like merge into one. Does that make sense, group 4? You were willing to mold yourself to what they wanted, or you were willing to adapt and make changes to be better for them. But as a result, you may have lost a sense of yourself, or like a lost identity, and that's something you're still trying to deal with now. Now you're really feeling lost and confused, like if I don't have this, if this didn't work out, what do I have, or who am I? Some of you may be having those thoughts in your head right now. So, I want to apologize. I know even the topic of this reading from the get-go, I knew it was going to be heavier, but I still do feel so bad when I have to give more negative or non-ideal readings and messages. But I always want to be honest, and I always want to tell the truth with you guys. So hopefully you can still take these messages and have them apply to your life and your situation and experiences. With that being said, I'm going to throw out my disclaimer here in the middle that, of course, not all aspects may resonate with you 100%, and that is a-okay and totally normal. Just be sure to take what does connect with you and then leave the rest for somebody else. With my disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and look at my other cards here to see what tarot I get for the future of your connection. So, all right. Okay, you guys, I have the Knight of Cups, and then I have the Two of Swords. So let's just, taking a look strictly at the imagery here for you guys, group 4. I'm gonna actually kind of, look at that, more space. Okay. I want to tell you, this ex, this person, whoever this connection is with, they are coming back. They will make a reappearance, but they run into this, which is the Two of Swords. This is a block. Let's dive into what I think is happening here. There's definitely, you know, the typical associations with the Two of Swords would be like a stalemate or indecision, but ultimately, I feel you detaching. Or it could be them, because, you know, it is hard to tell who's who in these large general readings. The energies get so mixed up and intertwined with one another, but one of you detaches emotionally because there is an attempt at reconciliation. There is an attempt made here with the Knight of Cups to reach out and rekindle, but it is blocked, and I think it is a detachment. Now, I'm wondering if there is an argument or issues from the past. Maybe it's issues with the third-party person. Maybe it is miscommunications. Whatever the issue or the argument was, you can't see past it. They can't see past it. It's like whatever was dealt with in the past that led to this separation, to this distance, this breakup, it's not being forgotten. And someone's not letting go of it, and it's creating that emotional distance. I also want to say, I feel like both of you are probably pretty stubborn. Sorry, group 4. One might be more than the other, but I do feel like for whatever reason, this emotional connection, this emotional outreach is getting shut down by the Two of Swords. So, of course, I want to point out that I'm just reading the energy as it stands right now. You know, maybe in the future this block will get resolved and this Knight of Cups can continue on his merry way and you guys can reconcile and reconnect. But as of right now, at this point in time, this attempt, maybe it's made by you or by them, someone tries to come back and it gets blocked. I don't see it happening right now for you guys, group 4. So let me go ahead and talk about my oracle cards. See, I have Venus and I have Taurus. So there's my stubbornness with Taurus, a fixed sign. I'm also wondering with Venus, it's true, I do think you guys find each other very attractive. Physically, you're probably very much each other's types. You know, with the moon here, someone may feel hypnotized by the other or feel like this person is magical and ethereal, but I think this butting of heads, you know, that's going to hold you guys back because Taurus, you have that fixed energy. They're notorious for their stubbornness, like I've said. So someone is stuck dwelling on whatever issues in the past have led to your, oops, sorry kitty cat, have led to your current issues. And they're unable to see past that. That's the block right now. But I do want to just let you guys know, group 4, I do think there was genuine love and affection between the two of you. And if it wasn't like a committed relationship, then there definitely was that romantic interest. They definitely were interested in you. But this third party that's influencing things and this emotional detachment is just not allowing this relationship to progress any further. All right, my last 2 oracle cards. I have the waxing crescent moon, which says have faith in your dreams. And I have the Scorpio new moon that says work through your fears. So let's talk, group 4. I do believe right now some of you are in a period of transformation and recovery from this connection, from this bond, whatever you went through, whatever the circumstances of, again, this separation, this breakup, this lack of communication, whatever has happened, you are still trying to process and recover from it. But thankfully, when we have an energy like Scorpio, it has that association with the phoenix, you know, rising from the ashes, bigger and better than before. And that's absolutely possible in your case as well, group 4. Because honestly, whatever happened, and for some of you, especially because there's a third party involved, it may have left you paranoid, maybe a bit obsessive, and just emotionally exhausted, just emotionally spent. But what we get from the waxing crescent moon, it says, have faith in your dreams, okay? This has been one step, in your journey. And the message is to keep looking ahead, keep looking forward, and don't think about going back right now. Both of these, it's like this is a time to focus on yourself, on healing yourself, and figuring out your next move. Maybe eventually, group 4, this block can get cleared out of here and you guys can reconcile, but as of right now, as it stands, for some of you, there's a third person, and for some of you, there's an issue from the past that either isn't being forgotten or isn't being forgiven, and it's standing in the way. So that is what I see for you here, group 4. Again, I apologize if this reading is a little darker and heavier than my usual spreads, but I, of course, appreciate you hanging out with me on my channel. I hope these messages are able to help you or give you guidance on your journey, and I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors and your future relationships. Oh, did you push the record button, Chelsea? Oh, you sure did. All right, good for you there, friend. And I also have oracle card. If you hear birds chirping or like in the background, I'm so sorry, but they are really talking to me right now. I told them later birds, we'll chat later. Who told me to put candles in front of my hands? Who said that was cool? I did. That was not my best move. Okay, you both take what the other says